Alright, so welcome to class 6 of HTML basics. This is lesson 6, and today we'll be looking at headings and text. Okay, headings and text. So we'll start flexing more into the website, and the last class or the previous class I did more on the head tag. So this time around we are in the body tag, and I'm going to be doing more of headings and text. Okay, so let's go into our A code where we physically do every other thing. So like I said, always said, if you've not watched a previous class, you can't understand where we're heading to. So please make sure you watch a previous class so you can able to catch up. So let's dive into our A code so that we can do on heading and text. Right, we are inside our code, our H code app, and like I always said, every single thing we'll be using the previous one, so no need for creating no need for creating something new. So keep using the previous work, keep using the work you've been using, and we will go on from there. All right, so I think this is a typo error, so let's go. Like I said, we're going to be talking on we're going to be dealing more into the body, and we were dealing on so many things. So I say, hey, this is my first web page. That is basically where I stop. So the first thing I want to introduce us to is the headings. Okay, the head, and basically I've already mentioned it here that the headings ranges from H1 to H6. All right, it's a different levels of heading. What it simply means, this one is the first heading, but when we start writing things, we start using more of the heading. Okay, we have the main title, subtitle, little heading 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to say this is H1 tag. All right, we just copy for the sake of time. All right, so I will just copy Ctrl V. No, that's not what I want. Ctrl V. Okay, Ctrl V, Ctrl V, Ctrl V, and Ctrl V. So like I will just change one. This is heading 1, and this is heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5, and heading 6. Good. So if I display this on the browser, you will discover the different levels of headings and how magnificent and how good it looks. So if you look, okay, I think yes, sorry, I didn't finish it. All of them are seeing heading 1. Sorry, my error from my side. So this is heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5, and heading 6. Okay, I'm going to do that in here. 6, 3, 4, and 5. So once you just click it, okay, it's the error somewhere. H2. Okay, let me just save. All right, sorry for that. It's always good to save. Sometimes the A code app doesn't automatically save. No, I set my own to save every 5 seconds, so I think it was up to 5 seconds I displayed immediately. So if you look here, you will discover the levels of the headings. H1 bigger, followed by H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. So there are times you use this. There's times you use heading, subheadings in different write-ups and different makeup. So always take note. H1 is bigger, H2 followed by H2, followed by H3, H4, H5, H6. So as it goes on, the list keeps getting bigger and smaller. The bigger one is H1, the smallest one is H6. So note that. Now the one I want to introduce again is on talking about using the p tag. Okay, so I'm going to be doing a lot of different things about this p tag, different tags or different attributes in it. Remember, I told you you can literally nest a tag inside another tag. So we'll be doing that with our p tags. So let me just copy. So okay, Ctrl V, Ctrl V, Ctrl V. I just want to show you some things you can literally do inside or with the p tag. All right, so in the first one, I'm just going to leave it like that. The second one, I'm going to add some attribute inside here. The first one I'm going to add is small. It's an attribute literally, so we will see what it does. So I will have to embed it within the fish. Okay, I have to copy and paste a lot because all right, so I'll just pause. Okay, not the pause the video. The next one I want to embed inside is mark. Okay, I think writing it back is kind of faster. Only if it doesn't open. Okay, fine. Okay, the next one I want to write is sub. You already literally know this one in some of your calculators, subscript and superscript. So this is a sub, so it's going to make the fish a sub, just like the way you do it in the mathematical terms. Okay, I think I will always remember your backslash whenever you're closing your tag. Let me just come here and do something. Okay, inside, let me just do and stay inside here. I'll just introduce 10. Okay, then sub 4. All right, so when we display, you will see what it simply is. And the next one I want to do is super, which means superscript. All right, and in here I will just have to put still 10 and super, and I'll put 4 2. All right, so the next one, okay, pre. Now this pre is like, you know, automatically your text editor have what is called its own styling. So whenever you write a word, it kind of arrange it and style it the way it has in its own settings. Okay, text editor has their own setting, but sometimes you can tell it, hey, don't change my styles, don't do anything, I will just leave the way it is written. All right, even the font type, like there's a particular font type we are using to write these text editors, this code right now. Okay, if you want to change the font type, go to the settings and change it. But what you're trying to tell the browser now with this attribute I'm about to add, or this tag, this pre, you're trying to tell it, do not change, just leave it the way I want to put it. So you always put that before the entire text. Okay, is the pre. So I will just go to pre. Okay, you can see I'm putting it immediately, and I close it here. Pre. All right, so, and if I save, all right, now look carefully. You've discovered the entire text are not the same. The first one, like I said, is normal. All right, is it? Let me see. The first one I did, okay, I said small. Okay, I think it's small. I made a mistake in the tag. No one I didn't show. All right, so save, play. Now if you look carefully, you will discover that this first in here is kind of a little bit smaller than the rest first. It's because I put an attribute to say let it be small. Okay, now the second one, discover that it's being marked yellow paint. Why? Because I said I said in the it says mark this yellow, mark this yellow, mark. I just say mark. So it's basically marked what I want you to mark for me. The next one is subscript. You can see that my first went down. If you're using a calculator, you know what you mean of subscript, and you can see the 10 base 4. And the next one is superscript, which I said first, super, and website say 10 raised to power 4. Okay, now if you look carefully, the one I put pre, I said don't change. Like I said, don't change. So it gave me as it should be, the way my text editor wrote it. That's how it's just going to place it without changing anything. All right, let me just show you something quickly. Now if I come here and I from this okay, let me choose, okay, let me use this last one, and I said first, and I cut. All right, and first I also cut from here. All right, I want you to take note of these two tags. This one that is pre, this one that is no pre, and I say cut. So if I save and I press, okay, now you discover that this first one was cut, because like I said, it's going to do exactly the way I'm doing it on the text editor without changing anything. But the second one was not cut. There was no cut on it because the browser itself automatically arranges it the way it should be. But the text editor, when you put that tag called pre, it means present as it is. All right, so we're going to more of this, or more of writing more codes and arranging, making things look more sensible and more presentable into the next class. So I will tell you to sit up, study these ones carefully, because what I'm trying to do now is to create a building block, because we'll be needing them. And once we get into building, adding colors, adding styles, you will want to come back to all this, and I will tell you there's no need coming back. Continue. So try as much as possible to play with all this. Try to be familiar with this, because you will be needing it. All right, so see you in the next class.